news.
Yeah.
How was the Child's Play charity dinner? Was it fun?
It was really good. It was really nice not to be in Bellevue. It was great to be in Seattle.
Oh, is it in Seattle?
Yeah, it's in the Skybridge. It's back at the Washington State Convention Center, like it used to be years and years ago.
Oh, that's so cool.
And as we just briefly saw on screen, there was a whole crew of us from Desert Bus who were able to make it down there, even though it was the night before we started.
Yeah, there's several of us, like, we were invited, all of, everybody who volunteers at Desert Bus was invited. Most people chose
The path of responsibility.
not to, just because sometimes storms sweep through, like, the Salish Sea and stuff like that, and it is just not passable for boats. Like, if it had been there's a huge storm that came through the night of the charity dinner and canceled all of the ferries.
Yep.
You all are so lucky that storm showed up 12 hours earlier. If you showed up 12 hours later, none of you would have made it.
Yeah. Well, and the Clipper doesn't have like a status page either, like BC Ferries does. So we all had to go to bed not being sure if we would have a ferry in the morning. We didn't know till we got down there, and it was captain's discretion. It was like,
oh really?
Up until the last minute, while you're all loaded on, it's their decision. It may or may not go.
Because we have to see if it's safe for you to travel, right?
Yeah. It was still quite windy.
Yeah, it was a real big old storm.
Yep.
And, I mean, I do admit, it was like, the rain is lashing my windows and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, I hope they can get back. Yeah. And then, because Graham was like, yeah, otherwise Zeta's going to be checks notes. Paul. Like, not just like Paul is the only entertainer, like Paul is like one of the only people on shift.
Yeah.
Paul, it would be like Paul running tech and prizes and comms, I think.
That'd be kind of amazing, though.
Or because PJ and Matthews are Zeta comms, they were both down there.
Yep.
Corey was down there.
Yep.
Beach was down there with us. Mm-hmm. Who else am I missing? It was just like, it would be just Paul.
Desert Paul for Paul.
Desert Paul for Paul. Well, he could clone himself, right? So he could fill in.
Yeah, that's true. The return of the beard tones, says Gazzy Inferno, which is what happened last time Paul cloned himself.
Yeah.